TLC, where we dive into the heart of our local community, its wineries, restaurants, businesses, and real estate. I'm Troy Anderson, your host, along with my co-host Pamela, and we're here to bring you a new perspective on what's happening in our community. This week we have a special guest, Margaret Spencer of DeFrost Social. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
This is going to be an interesting one, but before we get into that conversation, it's that time. It is Sipping on Success, where we open a bottle of wine, we get to taste it, we do more than taste it, but it's going to be good. What have you got for us this week, Troy?
I have got Efeste Sauvignon Blanc, and they call it Feral. And
Intriguing name.
Yeah, the name behind that is... our Sauvignon Blanc is named after Efeste's unique winemaking style, which utilizes native yeast, sourced from the iconic vineyard in George, Washington, so it's a little north of Columbia Valley. Long dry days and cool nights of evergreen vineyard also lends to the purity and complexity of this wine. So let's try it.
You know what? Before we started this show, I never thought I would know so much about wine and yeast.
Yeast. So.
Yep.
Native yeast means that there's no additional yeast added. They just let it ferment on its own.
I learned something this week. How about you, Margaret?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so this
It's got a nice color to it.
Yeah, it's got a really crisp color to it. This
beautiful
white wine. Yep. As usual, we're drinking them out of our Woodinville Wine Country commemorative glasses.
Yes, we are the Woodinville Wine Country Realtors.
Mm-hmm. Just give a little plug for ourselves there. I like that. Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the color of this. Well,
yeah.
Cheers, everybody. Here's to a great conversation, great show, and obviously delicious wine. All right, who's going to jump in first and take a sniff or a taste? What do we think?
Oh, lovely.
Ooh.
That's so nice. Very crisp.
What are we smelling in this?
I smell grapefruit.
Grapefruit? Okay.
Grapefruit, yeah.
Yes, grapefruit for sure. Very citrusy.
Yeah.
I smell there's a little bit of a creaminess to it.
Creamy,
I haven't tried it yet, but when my first kind of like inhale through the nose, I have
creaminess.
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah.
I know. I'll taste it.
That might be some of the native yeast.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about the yeast while I'm drinking my wine.
Yes, exactly.
I have to admit, that's not. All right, let's try this. I ate gum before we did this. It's a bad move. It's like eating apples before drinking wine. Never a good idea.
That's not a good wine pairing. To
like
me, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's very smooth for a Sauv Blanc. Sometimes Sauv Blanc is going to be real aggressive and citrusy tart on the finish. This one has a little bit of that as a Sauv Blanc
but it kind of rounds itself out just at that. You know, once the sharpness dissipates, it's got this really soft finish to it, and it's I do taste the grapefruit in it, a little bit of lemon.
But it's so soft. Like it's not, it's so easy to drink.
Yeah,
it's lovely.
What do we call that, Troy?
We're going to get Porch Pounder in right away this time. every episode, that's our...
it is easy to drink.
It's
but
not a Porch Pounder.
I would say it isn't a Porch Pounder. It has
although you can drink it on the porch.
You can drink it in the porch, the back garden, in front of the fire, wherever you like. But it does have a sophistication to it, I feel. Like it's, it does have that little bit of sharpness to it, but it's mellow in the end. It's just like, I could curl up with the book and maybe a pound of chocolate.
Yes.
I don't know if it's my spicy teriyaki I had earlier, but it goes down the throat more than some wines. I just kind of feel it, mouthfeel.
What do you mean by that exactly? Just so that people listening.
It just feels a little thicker than
a regular white wine.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think I would drink it very slowly because I would just savor it.
It is a sipper. It's a Sunday sipper.
Sunday sipper.
It's a Sunday sipper, yeah.
Right.
It's clarity, or however you want to say it. It does have a very soft, kind of green gold hue to it. It's not super dark.
It's kind of almost like the color of a diamond.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. It's kind of cream or ivory.
Yeah, it's got a champagne feel to it.
Yeah.
I feel all kinds of sophistication with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just minus the bubbles.
Yeah,
minus the bubbles.
Yeah. Can we add some?
You can always add bubbles.
Take your soda stream.
Life's better with
That's
bubbles.
awesome.
Absolutely. Well, this was a good one. Good choice. So why this winery in particular?
It's one we haven't tried before as far as branding goes. They are one of the older wineries that have been around. I think they're the farthest down in the Warehouse Wine District on the right up on the hill. They've got a really cool tasting room at the top there, and it's got a full kitchen, pizza oven. Oftentimes the owners and winemakers are there, so
Oh, really?
it's fun. It's fun to visit. Yeah, definitely.
okay.
I would recommend it. I'm not sure their hours, but they're definitely open on the weekend.
Okay, but there's a new one on me. Was it a new one on you, Margaret?
I think I popped in once on a wine tour. Yes.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I liked it. Good choice.
Good.
Excellent.
I don't think we've had a bad one yet, but this time.
It'd be a little embarrassing on here, wouldn't it?
It would,
oh,
yes.
Man, that tastes like hound's feet.
No, I think we're very, very lucky to live in such an area where we do have a multitude of great wineries to choose from. It gets hard some weeks to pick where we're going to go next. That's why I send Troy out to do it.
I usually end up at the same place.
It's a tough job, but somebody's
One
got
of
to do
four
it.
places.
I know, wonderful places. Okay. All right. Well, that was delicious. We'll continue to drink this while we have our conversation. But
Yeah.
before we jump into our conversation with Margaret, let's take a really quick break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, homeowners and aspiring buyers looking for a real estate team who are about you and your community? Look no further than Tend Home Team. We are here to help you navigate the sometimes overwhelming world of real estate. From buying to selling, we've got your back. Let's work together to find your dream home or sell your current one. Contact us today, tendhometeam.com. Let's get started. Back to TLC, 10 Life Community Podcast. And we are here with Margaret Spencer of DeFrost Social. And so, Margaret, we're delighted to have you on the show. To kick things off on your segment here, can you tell us a story behind DeFrost Social? What's the heart and soul of the business? You know, how you think it adds spark to our community?
Absolutely. So DeFrost Social started really out of my need as somebody who's always online to really get offline and meet people in person. I really feel that it's so important for us to connect as humans, and especially after the pandemic,
Yeah,
where
for sure.
we didn't have that kind of connection,
Yeah.
where we had the opportunities. And so coming out of the pandemic, I started to get inspired about how can I bring community together and help people to connect on a deeper level offline and make new friendships.
That's
I like
awesome.
it. And
I
then
like
we're also going to toss out the idea of the Seattle Freeze with this, I hope.
What's the Seattle
Absolutely.
Freeze?
You don't know what the Seattle Freeze is?
Yeah, it's
Margaret, you'll know what it is, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is, I always make the joke that this is about the Seattle Freeze, and defrost is a pun, and it's really helping people
Yeah.
to see that, we need to
I
thaw
get it
this
now.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
make a change, and I'm taking it on.
It's interesting that people have this
I like
idea
it.
that Seattle is an unwelcoming community. I mean, as a whole, I'm not talking about Woodinville, but this idea of Seattle Freeze, it's not something I'm particularly, I've not found it. Have you? That pause tells me something.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
let's move on. Okay.
But not in Woodinville.
No,
Not in
Woodinville,
Woodinville,
no.
There's this idea, definitely all over social media, this Seattle Freeze, that we're an unwelcoming community. And
I smiled at tons of random people today.
well, good for you.
Yeah.
You're busting the freeze. I
I
love
know.
it.
Oh, wonderful. All right. So, it's really clear to us that DeFrost Social is about that community connection. It's born from an idea that you needed to get offline. But who is it you're trying to connect with? Who are the people that you're trying to reach with these events, and how do you make sure that your vibe resonates with them? And are there any stories about community connection that made you go, yep, we're doing something right here?
Oh, okay. Well, absolutely. So, the Surgeon General back in April of this year mentioned that we're having an epidemic of loneliness in America in general. So, that was kind of my inspiration also. And then I really feel that this is for people that's 30 and over. It's really adults who are, that's when the age you get to where you're starting to lack the ability to make new friends, and you start having friendships drop off. And so people need to replenish their friendships. And I want to help people to connect. And while this is for people in all relationship status, I actually have a kinship, because I'm single, to helping other singles to connect. So what I do is I give them a little red tag that they wear, and that represents that they're both single and looking. Because not all singles are actually looking,
Right.
you know, for a connection that's a romantic connection. But like, again, I want to emphasize, this is not a singles group. This is for everybody, you know, couples. You know, we really welcome everybody, because we found that it's really important to, you know, for everybody to mix. And people are in very complicated relationship statuses. So, you know, to try to divide these groups just wasn't something that, you know, worked out.
So that was a question I had, because I know when we first met that we had this conversation, that trying to make people understand that it's not a dating group, right? I mean, if people connect in that way, that's great.
Right.
But now, do you do them in separate entities, if you like, or do you have, you know, a group that encompasses both singles and people in relationships, or do you do separate events for those?
I actually put them together. And initially, we were thinking we were going to separate the groups, but like I said, it just became very obvious very early on that people are in situationships. There's a lot of people that are in very complex relationships, or you know, heading in, heading out. You know, it's more complex than I had anticipated. So I didn't want to make people feel uncomfortable, and so I decided, you know what, you want to be able to go out with your friends, no matter where they're at in their relationships. Right. People like to travel in friend groups, especially in Seattle with the furries, you know, and people are a little clickier here. So we want to make sure that those people can go with their friends, come to our events, and really be welcoming and open. Really, DeFrost is for everyone, and I want people to feel really welcomed and all-inclusive and feel warm and fuzzy, and leave feeling a deeper connection to society.
Right. I thought it was interesting there that you said that you kind of, your target audience is 30 and over. And I think, you know, we talk a lot, not necessarily on this show, but as a community, about how, you know, recent events, and we'll try not to mention that word, you know, has impacted kind of the youth and the kids and teenagers, and, you know, and it has had a massive impact. But I think sometimes we forget about how it's impacted those that are in different stages in their lives, you know, where you were used to doing life one way and things have shifted. So I kind of appreciate that you're looking at this different demographic that sometimes I think gets forgotten.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and people don't have a place to go and make new friends. There's really a lack of places as adults that we can make new friends. And I think the older we get, the fewer friends we have, too. So
sometimes, for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of a need.
Like you said, people move on with their lives and they pick up and move. And
Yep. Life gets busy. You have kids, and you got sports, and then
and I think
then you're empty nesters, and you're like, "Where's all my friends?"
Exactly.
Yeah, they're all empty nesters too, and they're gone.
Right. Well, I think even empty nesters, even though there was a couple that stays together, which a lot of do divorce at this point, but people
happy.
that I know, right? But however,
Thanks, Margaret.
There's a lot of people that stay together, but even they would like to have new friends, you know. And I find even when I was married, we used to like to have a friend couples, you know, go on vacation with other couples. It just kind of makes, you know, your relationship more interesting if you have more friends, basically.
Yeah. So just kind of going back, you know, has there been anything that's kind of stood out to you that said, yeah, we're doing the right thing here, where, you know, where somebody's come up to you and said has had an impact in some way?
Absolutely. There's a couple things come to mind. And one is that after we did this, at Zeke's Pizza, we had done a scavenger hunt, kind of a Halloween type party, and it was really a ton of fun. And someone came up to me at the end and said, "Wow, you are really good at this." And I just go back to the thought that, well, you know, I have a 29-year-old daughter and 26-year-old daughters, and you know, I can just tell you they had very elaborate birthday parties, and I have a lot of experience doing parties for my own personal reasons, you know, and so. You know, I do feel like I'm kind of pretty good at that. You know, it hasn't been my career, in the past, but it really definitely is something I have experience in. And I really enjoy spoiling people, as one person at one of my parties put.
That's nice. So it sounds like it's a real passion project. So, I mean, your events must be quite the highlight. So how do you come up with the themes and ideas, and how do you find inspiration in specific aspects of our community? Take us behind the scenes of the event planning for a DeFrost social event.
Sure. So As a background as a creative director and as someone who really enjoys innovation, my goal is always to come up with a party that really hasn't been done before. Create
Okay.
something very unique experience for people to enjoy. And I try to delight them with, not only creating a fun theme, but I also integrate, I bring experts on relationships in front of my room for about 5 minutes to do a quick little talk
cool.
to inspire people.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I collaborate with people in the community to do this, whether it be spiritual leaders or it could be relationship experts like a psychotherapist or, people just different relationship connections, even connection with your body. And then, once we have that done, then we usually play a little kind of warming up games. So we really help people to interact and to connect, and we use relational techniques and games to help people have fun and learn to connect and work together as small teams. It's almost like, when you have corporations that have team building experiences, but I do this for community.
Okay. Cool.
Sounds interesting. Might have
Well-
to tag along.
I mean, that was
Come on down.
that was one of my questions. We're in a community that thrives on collaboration. Are there any cool partnerships you have with any local businesses, wineries, or restaurants?
Absolutely. I am a huge collaborator. I really believe if you want to go slow, go alone. If you want to go together, fast, go together.
I like
So,
that. I've not heard that before. That's
Really?
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. I love that saying. It's definitely not mine. I can't take credit to that, but I love that saying because I find that to be so true. So I love the collaborations that I've been able to build with both Zeke's Pizza in Wooden Creek Village
Okay.
and Monica Pavlovska. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her last name right, but Monica is amazing. It's a woman-owned
She's the owner.
franchise. Yes.
We did a chamber event there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh really? Oh yeah. They've got
it's been over a year, but-
beautiful bar area,
Yeah.
and she has been such a big collaborator. And we have, we're gonna be, we've done like a paint and sip there. We actually are building this beers and cheers experience
Okay.
there on Monday nights. So definitely, look to what Zeke's has got going on our social media. Then also, Jay Brookwalter, right behind the Hollywood Schoolhouse.
Oh, yeah.
John Campos is just an incredible a manager of that tasting studio, is what they like to call it, and it is gorgeous. But it's just the wines are incredible. The reds are just so lovely, and they are very collaborative with me. I'm able to host a lot of my fun events there.
Okay.
And we're going to be having in January. We'll be having a couple events there that are very exciting. Like we have a mindset reset to help people really set themselves up right for the rest of the year. We've got a murder. Oh, also at Zeke's Pizza, we got a murder mystery, which is an '80s themed, roller rink kind of murder at the roller rink theme.
Wow.
It's going to be hilarious.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, we're just really in plans of making some really cool experiences, and I'm even in the works right now. Little top secret insider info. I'm
Uh-oh.
actually trying to bring dance experience to Woodinville, which doesn't have a place to go out dancing.
Oh.
So
Okay,
it's a little top
I'm
secret right
in.
now.
More
like
details.
dancing?
I love dancing. I'll dance around my kitchen any day of the week.
Wow.
Right? I think dancing just not only does it connect us as humans, but it just really relaxes us and opens us up and makes us, I think kind of come into ourselves and help us to express ourselves,
Now you said that's top secret, but can you give us a few more details? Like, is it? Are we talking kind of more salsa or ballroom or club type dancing? What kind of experience are you hoping to bring?
Okay, I like the way you're squeezing a little more out of me.
That's my job.
I love it. Okay, so we really are thinking. There is another entrepreneur locally who I'm collaborating with, who's a dance expert, and they have connections with all types of dance. So it would be sort of like working through several different opportunities from country western, fun line dances to other really cool dances like more. Maybe it's more hip hop or maybe it's more ballroom. There's definitely going to be some variety, I can tell you. And I like to incorporate dance into my events. You know, like my mindset reset is going to have a little top secret here. We're going to throw in a little line dance into it. So I think that it helps people to kind
You
of
up for that, Troy?
relax.
Oh.
You drag Natalie along. She'll do the line dancing with you.
She's like, you used to dance with me, but not anymore.
Do you know the electric slide?
Oh no. I got the white guy.
You know what you need to do? You need to get onto
Problem.
the David Beckham thing. Have you seen that on social media with Victoria Beckham and David Beckham? So they kind of dance together, and now it's all over social media. People will play some music, the woman will play it, and see whether their husband will get and dance with them. So maybe you can add that little, see if we can do the Victoria Beckham thing.
Oh, I love it. That's fabulous.
No, the mindset reset. I like the name of that better than New Year's resolution. Obviously, that's kind of tired, but that reset thing, that's kind of cool. So I like that idea. But just want to scoot back just for a moment. You mentioned the beer thing with Zeke's on a Monday. Now, is that going to be something that is every Monday, or is it just going to be a finite period of time on Mondays, just so people can look out for it?
Yes, definitely check out their social media. It'll be from 6 to 9, so 6 until they close. And it's in the bar area, and Cheers and Beers is the owner of Zeke's is wanting to foster the whole Cheers experience. And so as an event planner, I'm collaborating with her to help her bring her vision to life, to creating a space in Woodinville where we can help
Where everyone
people.
knows your name.
Exactly.
Like a pub in England.
Exactly. An good old-fashioned English pub experiencing. I've been trying to talk her into buying a piano, and she's going to kill me for even saying this on air, but, that could be a reality. Let's just check out the social media, see if we can make this happen. It's definitely exciting, but we're trying to create a real community feel, because we want, even though Woodinville is exploding and growing like crazy, we want this to stay a very hometown feel and vibe that Woodinville's always had. That sense of connection that I think Woodinville has always had. It's such an approachable city socially. I think it's very different than the Seattle Freeze and the rest of the city. Yeah. But it's such a special city. I just absolutely love Woodinville. It's my dream city to live in, and I'm super grateful just to live right in Wood Creek Village.
It is a great place to be, and we foster this community. We love anything to do with kind of this community, because, like you said, it's a big town city, but it does still have that small town feel about it. And I think it's been very clever that we've managed to maintain that.
Yes.
I think it's a big draw. All right, but communities do change, right? And so do people's tastes. So how do you at DeFrost Social stay in tune with the community's vibe, and any interesting instances where you've had to switch things up or add a fresh twist just to keep everyone excited?
Oh, that's a really good question. I really try to help people to feel welcomed. I want people to feel seen, heard, and loved. So we even have sometimes some events we hug it out. We just, for people that are open to hugging, for those huggers.
I'm British, no thanks.
Yeah, I know. Well, we do that. We tell people, if you're not a hugger, keep your hands to your sides. If you're a hugger, put your hands out. And I could not believe how everybody started hugging everybody at the end of one of these events, and everyone walked away with a big smile on their face. And that's what I try to foster. But I to be really candid, not all events go as well as that. Those are some of my top events, but sometimes you get like an interesting crew, and we had actually a Friendsgiving event, and a woman had an anxiety attack and walked out. And so I think what was beautiful about that, though, is we had about 3 people that went after her, me and 2 other ladies, and we just kind of tried to calm her. We brought her back in, helped her to see that this is a friendship space. This is a space for everybody. And whether you have social anxieties, which I can, totally understand, this is a real thing, in our society, and helping people to feel at ease. And, I think that just wanting to feel that desire to helping people feel comfortable, and trying to share my vision of this with other people so that they get behind my mission and will help me to help others, because I can't do this myself.
No.
That's more common than you would think.
The social anxiety?
Yeah, I've run into several people that say they get anxious about networking events. Or
Yeah, I think
like
not
that.
even just network. I mean, network events. I think it's a different animal because you're there to kind of promote yourself, and that I can definitely see the anxiety in that. But that social anxiety, and I think some of that stems back to it's innate in some people, but I think also for some people the fact that we've been so isolated, it's hard to get back into that feeling of wanting to be in other people's spaces and chat and what that looks like. And I totally get it.
So, you touched on it a little bit, but, there's more success than just head counts at your events. Do you have anything that sticks out or any funny stories or...
Yeah, one of the events that I've done twice, and I'm definitely going to be doing again in the new year, is called Battle of the Sexes, and it is
I think
hilarious.
I can get on board with this. Okay, what are we talking about?
So we have men on one side of the room and women on the
Oh
other,
my
and
gosh.
it's a
That's probably
debate. It's a
hilarious.
love debate. You guys, a love debate is just about, let's talk about our differences of with men versus women, and I give the opportunity for each side to talk about. They get in teams and they decide what do they want the other sex to know. What do they want them to know about them? What kind of myth do they want to bust? What kind of questions do they have? What have they always wondered? So that's really fun. But I think the unexpected delight was that I made a love connection at the very first one. And there's a couple that they liked each other. They reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to share my information?" And they ended up going on a date. And I think that just makes me feel really good and warm and fuzzy that I was able to help build a connection.
Mm-hmm.
I help to connect relationships, and if people ask me at my events to help them to connect, as long as both parties are willing, I do this for people. I facilitate, but I am by no means a matchmaker. This is not my space, but I do want to help people to have successful relationships, no matter what those relationships look like, even if they're friendships, and people have made new friends, and gone on dates for my events. So I think it's kind of exciting to feel like your hard work is paying off, and my goal of helping people connect is really working.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Now, do you find that with the men versus women, is it all serious, or do some people take it kind of tongue in cheek? Are people striving to have fun with this, or is there a competitive edge to it? How do you feel that kind of evolves itself?
There's a lot that has come from those, Battle of the Sexes events that are quite interesting. I think it was really revealing, to be honest. But I don't, I know a lot of people, when you say the word battle, they're like, ooh, is it going to be very, argumentative?
Mm-hmm.
But no. I do not allow people to talk over one another. I make sure that everything stays, really lighthearted and fun. Because these events are just all about being lighthearted and fun. But at the same time, the Battle of the Sexes has become a very information gathering type event. Like, I think people walk away with big ahas about the opposite sex, which was kind of the intent of it, but it actually is more successful than I had thought. And even for me personally as the host, I am getting a lot of awakenings about the opposite sex that I did not realize either.
Oh, very cool. Now, how many events a month do you aim to put on?
Right now I am my goal is one with the Zeke's Pizza and one with Jay Brookwalter. Those are my two different partnerships, and I'm trying to work towards that at this point, to have one very successful, fun event that we can market throughout the month.
It's a lot of work to put on events, so
Yeah.
to do two a month was...
Yeah. But I literally do this almost for myself as well. Like, I have so much fun with it. This is not work. This is play. This is definitely play.
I get the sense that this is not really work for you, but yeah. So, you're trying to put on at least one event. I'm sure that, as people get to hear more about it, it will grow. But how many people typically will be there? You already had this instance you talked about where somebody had a little bit of social anxiety. So,
Yes.
What can people expect walking in, the number of people that are there, so that they have an idea of what to expect?
Sure. We have anywhere from about 20 to 50 people at our events.
Okay.
And
That's a pretty good event.
I know, that's impressive.
I mean, it's really a ton of fun, and people, you can expect that when they get there, there's always going to be something from the get-go for them to do. They're never going to arrive and think, what do I do with myself and who do I talk to? That will not be something at a DeFrost event. Our whole goal is to keep them with tasks and put them in smaller groups and give them things to work on. So if people have something in their mind, that objective that they need to accomplish, whether it's, okay, go put together a puzzle together, like at the Friendsgiving event, or if it's like, walk around the room and figure out, which, singer is on your back, or, at another one it might be, simply like get into a team and decide what questions you want to ask the opposite sex, so there's always a task. And so what that does is that eliminates some of the social anxiety about what do I do? And even if you don't have anxieties, it's kind of an awkward feeling when you arrive to an event, you don't know what to do. So I like to give someone direction from the moment they walk in the door.
Well, especially when they don't, if they're working, if they come as a group, it's a little easier, right? But if you walk in as a person on your own, then it's like, well, who do I talk to first? It kind of goes back to what you were saying about networking events, right? When you walk in, you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Exactly. And like you said, as a business owner, it's different because everybody's there by themselves typically, and they're there to make connections. So you're kind of in good company. Whereas a social event, I think people wonder, can I go alone? And do I need a date for this? I mean, I actually get these questions, and I'm like, absolutely, you do not need a date. In fact, you'll probably have more fun if you don't come up with any other people, because you're going to meet new people and make new friends. And so I really want to welcome people to come by yourself, especially if you need to make connections and if you're from out of state and you don't have friends here. One of the most exciting things at the Friendsgiving is I had a woman who signed up for my event who had never had a Thanksgiving, and she came all the way from Russia, and she was new to the area. And then I had a woman even, from Asia who came over, who was visiting for work, and so they both never had experienced Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, let's be honest, you arrive here from anywhere else in the world, you're like, oh, what's this now?
Yeah, exactly. What is this? And then they'll realize
sit around all day and eat.
Yeah.
And then you've got Black Friday the next day, and you're like, this is what?
Yeah. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Crazy.
Funny.
Oh, that's well, they sound intriguing.
Yeah, they sound very well organized. I was going to bring that up. So I absolutely hate going to events or any sort of meeting where it's not organized well. So it sounds like you're very well organized. I appreciate that. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And, I like to put people into small groups, because then they also get to work together. That's the whole, work as a team, learn about other people through interaction. And then who you might want to hang with later after the event.
For sure. Or who you don't.
Well, it's almost like being back at school. You're thrown in with a bunch of people and given a task to do. And as kids, that's how we make friends, right?
Yes.
So it makes sense to try and emulate that as adults would be a great way to kind of build friendship groups again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also wanted to mention that San Francisco had started this thing called, I think it's called a ground floor. Yes, it's called ground floor. And then it's a social club, and then they opened one in LA just recently. And it has taken off like crazy. I mean, this is not just, I realize
there you go.
This is not just about me seeing a problem here. They have a wait list of 2,000 people to get into their LA club.
Sounds like you'll be looking for space in Woodinville. So.
We need to start having some bigger parties.
Yeah, take over your own space and we'll have one weekly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's fantastic. There's definitely a need for it. So, yeah.
So, we are super community driven here at Tend Home Team, and I always want to ask our guests if there's any hidden gems in the community that you would want to share. I mean, you mentioned Zeke's Pizza, which has fantastic pizza and atmosphere right there in Wooden Creek. And then J. Brookwalter, which everyone should visit them too. They're in the Hollywood School District. But is there anything else that stands out that might be a hidden gem for our listeners?
Absolutely. I would say that the Champaign Avenue is a little off the beaten path. It's actually on the other side of the tracks. But you know what? It is amazing.
Sometimes over there is better.
Wine Walk Row.
Wine Walk Row.
Yeah.
That is such a mouthful.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
Well, actually, there's two Champagne bars in Woodinville. And
you're talking about the one over
Champaign Avenue.
Yeah.
So Champaign Avenue is on the other side of the train tracks, which is not very well frequented. You know, it isn't frequented very often, but
it's next to Julio's.
That's why it's very nice little secret.
Oh.
I just forgot the name of his Cuban.
The
restaurant.
Cuban, Twisted Cuban Cafe.
Yes.
Twisted Cuban,
yes.
Absolutely. And if you guys pop over there, like you said, hidden gem.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Amazing.
twice now I've been stumped on this show. I was like, okay.
You gotta get out more, Pam.
I know. I need to go to some social events, clearly.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of the one in Wine Walk
Right.
Row, which is called something else.
McQueen's.
McQueen's,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But I really love this little Champaign Avenue because it's so warm and cozy, and
It
the
is.
customer service is
And it's
off
not
the
just
charts.
champagne. It's a wine bar.
Yes.
So they've got all different types of wines
Sounds like my kind of place.
in addition to champagne.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sign me up.
Yeah. It's I don't think a lot of people know about it, so it's kind of a little hidden secret.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is a gem. Thank you, Margaret.
Thanks for that.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone go there.
I know. I mean, we've definitely had some on the show where I'm like, I had no idea we had that at Woodinville, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like picnic table.
Picnic table, hadn't heard of them. Yep.
Oh, where's that?
See?
Oh. They're in the Artisan Hill District, which is just down the street from our office. 144th, I think, is the cross street, but and it's tucked back in the industrial area. Great chef, and he does a lot of catering too. But I would definitely recommend that for lunch.
I will check it out.
Yeah.
Picnic table.
Yeah.
We're just promoing all kinds of things.
I
here.
know. Well, that's what we're here for,
Build
right?
that, build that community.
We'll send those invoices later.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. You know, it's just more people to put on the list to come on the show and
Yeah, for sure.
share more gems, because I think that's what one of the really fun things about this show is, you know, we're letting other people know these little hidden gems that they can then go and help foster that sense of community with, and yeah.
I love
Love
that.
Yeah, guess what I'm doing on Saturday? Champagne bar.
Are you?
Yes.
No, maybe not. Maybe. I don't know what my plans are yet for the weekend. It's only Wednesday, but
Oh,
but
fun.
yes. But no, it's going to be on my list for sure.
Okay.
Oh, you'll
Yeah.
love the bubbles.
Okay.
Great.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions for Margaret before? we
No,
take a
anything
quick
else you
break?
want us to know?
You know, that if you want to see our upcoming events and you want to come be social with us, you can find us at DeFrostSocial.com. We also are on Facebook and Instagram under DeFrost Social as well.
All right, that's
All right.
easy to remember.
All right, and we will make sure that everybody hears that again at the end of the show as well, so that they can make sure they've got it
Oh, we're
noted
not
down.
done?
No.
Oh.
We've got a real estate roundup coming up, so we're
Oh,
going to take a
shoot.
really quick break, and then you're on the spot, Troy.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
Yeah, all right, stay
Okay.
tuned, we'll be right back.
Listeners, I have a new go-to place in town, Vaughn's 1000 Spirits. Woodinville, West Valley, just across the street from Janik Winery. Seattle's famous sourdough pizza and pasta. My favorite is their Northwest King salmon pasta. Comes with San Juan Island mushrooms, Sicilian spice, lemon, and cream sauce. Their bar has one of the biggest selections of fine spirits around. Do you know about the Waggering Wheel? Go during happy hour. It's super fun. There's a lively bar, dining room, and a huge patio. Did I mention they won Best Burger in Washington for 2023? Free valet parking daily. Go check them out.
Welcome back to TLC, 10 Life Community Podcast. We've just had a fascinating conversation with Margaret Spencer of DeFrost Social and all things connecting community and social events. So, but now it's time for our real estate roundup. Are you ready, Troy?
Yes.
You sure?
I don't know. What are you going to throw me for this week?
I'll try not to throw you for a loop, that's
Okay.
for sure. All right, so timing the market. I know this is
that's a good one.
Yeah, this is something that I think people ask themselves on a regular basis if they're homeowners, and when is the best time to put your house on the market? And so most people will tell you that the best time of the year to put your home on the market is the spring, right? So there are some real estate behemoths out there that suggest that a Friday or a Saturday between April and June is the best time to list. And the idea behind that is that they can schedule open houses that same weekend and maximize the number of buyers. And buyers typically arrive at open houses in droves when the weather is nice. Sound about right? So as we head into the new year, let's talk about it. Should I wait till spring? And if not, why?
Well, I disagree with most of that.
Of course you do. 'Cause
Spring shows up for buyers sooner than it does for sellers. And what I mean by that is the buyers are in the marketplace. You get together for the holidays or whatever, and you've got New Year's resolutions, and people start thinking about making changes in their life. So really the best time to be on the market is, well, January would typically have the lowest amount of inventory, meaning product for sale.
Right.
But that's when buyers start to come into the market and start thinking about buying.
Right. That's when they're having that mindset shift of like, okay, now it's time to
Yeah.
get on that train.
Get on the train. It's time to make that change. We're expecting we've got to get something bigger. All that stuff kind of happens. But so I say February through April is probably the best time to be on the market. February and March being where you're in the ramp up, so the inventory levels start going up from January through June. So in June you see typically you see the highest amount of properties on the market, and there's a significant amount of transactions that happen in June as well. But if you can get ahead of that as a seller, you're going to have more eyeballs on your property in maybe February and March.
You're beating out the competition to get on the market, right?
Correct.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you have the luxury of timing, most people don't, but if you're contemplating it, and I meet with people sometimes a few years in advance to do an equity evaluation, go over any renovations that might improve the property or the value, and those take time to schedule contractors and stuff like that. So now is a great time to be having that conversation about putting your house on the market and getting it on sooner rather than later.
Right. So starting the thought process earlier than what people expect, right?
Yeah,
because
and
also there's some timing issues that come into that about getting the house ready as well, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, that all takes time. Depends on what you have to do. If you live like Martha Stewart, and probably not much.
If
to do.
only we all
If
lived like
only.
I have ideas that I like
Or
to live like
Joanne
Martha Stewart.
Gaines.
Sure.
Yeah. So she's a new Martha Stewart, right?
Right.
And then I'd also disagree with when it's sunny out, you're going to get people out in droves looking at open houses. We live in the Pacific Northwest, and anytime there's sun, people are doing something else.
Yeah.
Going for a hike.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would preface that comment that, obviously, like with anything, this information comes from clickbait, right? Where it's like, and it's based on the entire country, not local to where we are.
Right.
But then the conversation gets going that it must be true for everywhere. But like you just said, we're in the Pacific Northwest. We want to go hiking. We want to go stand up paddle boarding. All of those
Go to
fun
the
things.
beach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go to a wine bar.
Yeah. Sit outside a wine bar. Yeah.
Yeah. After being in hibernation for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think does that answer your question, or do you want more?
Yeah, no, I mean, you can elaborate a little bit more if you want, but that was pretty much it. I think the idea that you have to wait. You start having those conversations in April is what people think, and you get, beginning of April, you get it on
If you have
June.
a conversation in April, you're too late. It's by the time you prep your house, it takes us, a week to 2 weeks to get a house ready, and that's, getting staging done, doing photos, doing the marketing ad copy, and getting it to wherever it needs to go. And then, one thing I was going to mention, they mentioned listing on Friday or Saturday. I think that's terrible.
Well, it's not what we do, but yeah.
We list on a Wednesday or Thursday. That way the property has enough time to syndicate, meaning go out to all the avenues where there's going to be eyeballs.
Yeah.
And then we do schedule an open house for that first weekend to bring in the fresh.
Right. But again, it's about getting in before everybody else.
Yeah.
Which sounds a little mercenary. It's not. It's strategic, but it's, it helps the buyer be in front of, the seller be in front of the buyers quicker than everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Buyers are going to have more choices in June.
Yeah. Okay. And that's not to say you put it on in April, you're not going to sell. It just might, you're going to be battling with other people that are also putting their house on the market. So the pool is diluted.
Yes. And less competition typically means better offers.
Yeah, that's some good advice, you guys. I love it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think we know what we're doing.
I never knew that. I wish I would have known that when I was selling my house.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we provided some information. I love it.
Hey, and always, it's no obligation for me to do an equity evaluation for you. We go in a little bit deeper than most people do, and not just providing the comps, but provide, a lot of market statistics and data behind those comps, and can advise you on staging and any, like I said, any renovations that might help improve the sale.
Yep, and then at that point you can let people know about all the fantastic concierge services you have too.
Yes, how we get home sold.
Yep,
for
absolutely.
top dollar.
All right, well, that was your real estate roundup question for the week. Thank you, Troy.
Well, that was
Appreciate
easy.
that. Well, sometimes I want to let you off a little lightly. In other weeks, I'm just going to be hardball.
Okay, all right.
All right. Well, this has been a fascinating show, Margaret. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yes.
Remind everybody once again where they can find DeFrost Social, please, and how they can sign up for your event. Do they have to sign up? Can they just turn up?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. So you can find us at DeFrostSocial.com. All of our events will be listed on the website, as well as our social media, which again is DeFrost Social. And, these are ticketed events. We try to keep the prices low. They're not really expensive because we really want it to be open to everyone.
Gotcha.
But yeah, there are ticketed events that you will need to purchase a ticket for. We usually allow tickets to be purchased all the way up into the evening of, and you can buy them at the door even. So, come and be social. We will fit you in. Don't you worry.
Love it. So
Sounds
last
awesome.
minute decision, you can just turn up and they'll let you in. You buy
Yes.
your ticket on the door. I like it. Right, Troy, somebody wants to get hold of you and they get a in-depth market analysis on their house or just talk to you about timing, where would they get hold of you?
Well, tendhometeam.com is our website. That's probably the best spot. So shoot us an email or 206-504-3660. And we're also on social, Tend Home Team or Troy Anderson.
And if they like the show, what should they do?
Ding the dinger.
Or subscribe on any of your favorite podcast platforms, or go to YouTube to watch the video and ding the
Ding the
dinger.
dinger to be reminded, yes. Please
All
subscribe.
right. Yeah, please subscribe. All right. Well, this was great. Thanks very much. We will see you next time. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey, you got to hear about this amazing spot I stumbled upon, Northwest Spirits Distillery. It's located right in the heart of Woodinville wine and spirit country, near all the good stuff like Novelty Hill Janik and Chateau Ste. Michelle. They've got the tastiest spirit flights, killer cocktails, and delicious Northwest grub from their sister restaurant, Vaughn's 1000 Spirits. The best part, it's a family-run business going strong for 5 generations. They've got all sorts of fun events too, private bookings, trivia night, and even bark and bourbon where you can bring your furry buddy along for the ride. How cool is that? Check out their website for the latest happenings. Seriously, don't miss out on this gem. Northwest Spirits is where the celebration is at. NorthwestSpirits.com.